words about myself. I started my career about 2002. I was working in IBM as well about 10 years ago. During my career, I was working on technology positions as well as non-technology positions like Scrum Master. And there were also positions in which I mixed these two worlds. And currently, I'm a software developer, and as a side job, I'm helping organize this Agile open space. I started to cooperate with Agilia in about 2012, which was a non-profit organization. We were organizing meetups each 2 months in Bratislava, Brno, and Prague, as well as some conferences. And a few years ago, I started to cooperate with another organization called Edutra, and cooperation with Edutra is mostly about this Agile open space. Okay, so with few words, what is open space? Open space is a format of conference which is quite different from traditional conferences where you have one speaker and many listeners which are passive. In open space, we emphasize the importance of discussions. So it's a conference which, in which you are typically discussing in several rooms in parallel, and this way you are able to learn a lot. So now I'm going to guide you a little bit through the process of this, let's say, unconference. And I will show you how typical day in this unconference looks like. So at the beginning, of course, there is registration. After it, all the attendees are seated. What is very important is that they are sitting in a circle setup, which emphasizes the importance of the discussions. Unlike traditional theater setup with one speaker and many listeners, the atmosphere should be relaxed. That's why we had a piano player during the introduction part. It's good when there is fun, when people are smiling, and when they are relaxed. Okay, so one of the first things that we do at the beginning is that each person, each attendee introduces himself or herself. Just a few words. Of course, it's quite difficult to remember names of 100 people with their positions. What is important here is that the people are forced to say something, at least few words, which from the psychological perspective typically unblocks that person from being silent during the whole day. If they are able to say at least few words, then it's more easier for them to join discussions during the day. Agile open space, or open space, is a self-organizing format, and in order for this self-organization to happen, there are some principles and one law that are creating a framework for this whole day. Before introducing this principle and law, I will just briefly describe how it looks like. So after this introduction part ends, or at the end of this introduction part, people are asked to think about the topics they are interested in, about the questions they would like to discuss with the others, with the other attendees on the conference. And they are asked if they have such problem they are, for example, solving at work, or they successfully solved but would like to discuss with others, to stand up, write the topic title on the paper together with their name, and stand up in front of the others and tell them what they would like to discuss. Then with the paper they go to the planning board that we call marketplace. I will explain later why such name. and they pin this paper to the marketplace. This marketplace, it's as I've said, it's a planning board which have some rows and some columns. Rows represent rooms, because during the day there are several rooms in which discussions are running in parallel. Let's say 6 or 7 rooms, and then we have columns which represent time slots. So by putting or pinning the paper with your topic on the marketplace, you are saying that I would like to discuss this topic in this room and this time. So this is briefly how it works. And one important thing is that the people are allowed to migrate between the rooms or among the rooms. So if I'm not interested anymore in the discussion I'm attending right now, I can stand up and go to the other room. Fine. Now a few words about these principles and one law. Don't worry, I'm going to translate. We have posters such as this one in the whole room and in all the rooms, so that the people are able to check all the time what is important. So principle number 1: whoever came is the right person. This principle says that we should not focus on the people who are not in the room, but we should focus on the people who came to the room to discuss this topic. Because these are the people for which this topic is important, not people who we think should be here because they understand the topic and so on, but the people who are really in that place. Principle number 2: whatever happens, whatever happens is the right thing. And this principle says that we should not prepare detailed upfront agendas for the discussions. The reason for this is that typically on the open space there is a huge diversity of the people. There are various people with various positions, from QA engineers, developers, managers, and so on, at various seniority levels. And such a diverse environment creates a huge space for creativity. If you have big creativity, it's very difficult to plan or foresee what will happen. That's why we say at the open space that you should be prepared to be surprised. Principle number 3: whenever it starts, it's the right time. This principle says about that creativity is not driven by clock. That you should not watch time. You should focus on the discussions that are running. You should focus on creating deep connections with other people that are in the room with you, and you should focus on this instead of focusing on the time. Principle number 4: when it's over, it's over. This is describing the case when we already reached the breakthrough and we do not have anything else to discuss. And in that case, we do not have to sit in that room forever. We can just go away and find another room in which another interesting discussion is running. Fine. Now, the most important part, law of 2 feet. That's the single law of open space. Is the, if not nothing else, this is one thing that you should remember. And it says that whenever you are in the room on a discussion and you are not enjoying this discussion anymore, you just use your 2 feet, stand up and go away, find another room with another discussions that would be beneficial for you, and you would be also beneficial for the discussion. This way you have all the discussions, or in all the rooms, there are people who are interested in discussing that problem. There are no bored people who do not want to be there, and they are there just because, I don't know, my manager wants me to go there. Only people interested in the problem are there. And this way we have many people migrating among the rooms. And I would say this is not like you can migrate. You should migrate. If you do not migrate, then this doesn't work. The whole open space does not work without this. There are two types of migrants we know. One of them are butterflies. Those are people who are migrating they're very quiet. You hardly ever see that they arrive the room. They are talking not too much. And then there are bumblebees. They are allowed to immediately spot them when they enter the room, and they are able to ask questions right after entering. And we love both types of migrations because they help us to spread the energy and make the open space work. Fine. So these are the 4 principles and 1 law. After explaining this to people, I, as a facilitator or moderator, ask people to stand up and introduce their topic if they have any. And after we have our marketplace filled with the topics, I ask people to come closer to the marketplace. And this is why it's called marketplace, because the people are asked to switch topics if they want to. They are allowed to split topics. If they think one topic is too big for one session, they can split it into 2. If they feel there are 2 topics that are very, very similar, they can join them together. And they can negotiate, because I would like to make a change, another person do not want to make a change, so I can negotiate with them. So that's why this is called marketplace. There are a lot of discussions about how it will work, how the whole day will look like. So here you can see the people who are planning their agendas for the upcoming day, looking at the topics. And here is the complete marketplace. On the left side, it's the morning program. On the right side, it's afternoon program. So after this marketplace is set up and settled down, discussions are going to start. And again, these discussions are the setup of the rooms is similar to what we have seen at the beginning. The people are sitting in a circle setup, and again, this is very important. It encourages people to discuss the problem, to speak. Okay, during the day we have several kind of side activities or activities that are making it even more interesting. One of them is called Peča Kuča. Is there anybody who've heard about Peča Kuča? Okay. Peča Kuča, it's a format of presentation which has exactly 20 slides, and each slide is displayed exactly for 20 seconds. And the slides are being switched automatically. So the speaker does not interact in any way with the computer on which the presentation is running. So he should be very well prepared, and also the timing should be well prepared. It's really great activity because there is no space for some long talking. They have to go straight to the core, and typically a lot of information is expressed this way. We are having these Pecha Kucha sessions typically after the lunch, when people are tired from having a lunch. They would not like to actively discuss anything. They would just like to have a few minutes of passively watching presentations. During this block, we have about 5 to 7 or so Pecha Kucha presentations in a row. So it's pretty intense. Half an hour or 45 minutes, I'm not sure. And one Pecha Kucha presentation takes about 6 minutes and 40 seconds. Another side activity we are having during our open space day are these one-on-one sessions. If you have a question or if you have a topic you would like to discuss, but you do not want to discuss it with the whole group, you have an opportunity to discuss it with recognized expert or recognized Agile coach or trainers. There are always several well-known Agile coaches or trainers who are attending open space, and you are able to reserve one of them for a specific time slot to discuss your problem in pair with him or her. Then we typically have a partner or sponsor which also have his own program. For example, this partner was introducing their let's say capability model for Scrum Masters, on which you were able to test yourself using their model. There are several Scrum Master competencies, and you could pick one, and they tested you and discussed with you what would you do in some situations, and at the end they gave you assessments with some maybe pointers what to do next in your career or development. Of course, we have great catering, coffee, and at the end of the day we have a retrospective. We meet all the people, or the attendees are going to meet in the room they met at the beginning of the day, and they are asked to give feedback to either other attendees if they learned something from the others, or to organizers, or whatever they want. And typically the people are really surprised that such a conference can work, because it's really really self-organizing conference. We as organizers of the conference, our only duty is to provide the framework, the place, and somehow start it and to explain the rules. Then it's self-organized by the people. Okay, some numbers. We started with about 35 people. On our last open space we had 115 people and about 27 discussions. Examples of discussions, for example, career development of Scrum Masters, cross-location Scrum, Agile roadmaps, when it's not okay to use Agile. So it's mostly about Agile. It's called Agile Open Space. And maybe a few words about the audience. As I've said, there's a huge diversity. There are pure engineers, developers, a lot of Scrum Master, coaches, trainers. So there are a lot of people from which you are able to learn if you are interested in growing in Agile. There are also people from leadership of the companies and managers there. If you would like to read something more about open space, there are plenty of resources on the web. But this one, Harrison Owen's Brief User Guide to Open Space Technology, is my favorite because it's explaining the basic principles of it, the core of open space. the stuff that is really important, and it also gives you some step-by-step guide if you decide to organize such an event. Before I end my presentation, I have to introduce Jarka Ceplekova to you. She is a great lady. She is the head of EduTrea organization that organizes Agile Open Space, and without her, we would not have Agile Open Space here. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, I'm here.
Is organizing also another topic in Agile?
We started to organize open space for project managers as well, in cooperation with PMI, Czech Republic, and yeah, we are trying to bring open space to other areas, but it's quite slower than in Agile, where we have more contacts. Yeah, but we are trying, for example, in the project management community, to do it as well.
Can you maybe quickly create an open space vibe around here, with audience, and bring them together and make them facilitate a discussion?
Sorry, I missed the beginning.
Could you maybe facilitate a discussion right away here, because audience is not ready with any topic, so it would be maybe nice to bring them together and kind of give them demo how it feels like to be part of that. So
like here in
here with these
Right
audience,
here, right now.
yeah, right here, right now.
Yeah, right now.
Sorry, I'm still missing what what exactly.
Whatever audience we are here,
Yes.
can you create environment of open space right away? Because audience, we don't have any topic in our mind, so we can discuss about anything. So
Yes.
maybe it would be nice for the audience to feel how it really feels like to be in an open space. So if you could facilitate that, because we still have some time left.
Well, the facilitations look pretty much like the introduction I'm giving to the people on the open space is pretty much the same as I gave you right now.
Okay.
So what I'm doing there is that I explain them those principles, the law, how it works during the whole day. Before that, I will have to, with some other people, we will have to set up all the rooms and prepare the marketplace so that they are able to, be in the papers there, and then it can start. I don't know. This is quite a small group. It's like one group of one discussion group out of, I don't know, 6 or 7. So I cannot imagine how I could try it here.
I was just wondering.
Yeah. But typically, when you are going to open space, it's good for you to know just that you should think about what would you like to discuss, because it's your responsibility to make that conference great. It's not. It's good for us organizers that we have not so much responsibility.
Okay.
It's responsibility of the attendees to make it wonderful.
Okay. Thanks.
With the content. I hope I answered the questions.
Yeah, sure.
I would like to ask you where we can find the user's guide you mentioned to open space technology.
Yeah, sure. It's here. If you Google Harrison Owen.
Harrison Owen?
Yeah. I think you should be able to find it.
And is this the title? A brief user's guide to open space technology?
I think so. Yeah.
Harrison Owen.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Or maybe Lenka will be able to share this with you. This presentation.
I was not in the distribution list. My manager forwarded me the information about this event. How can I register for the future events?
For the future events. Okay, there is a webpage, agileopenspace.cz,
Okay.
and on that page you can register. It will be, I think, on 5th on June. Will be the next one.
Okay.
In Bratislava.
Prague. And it's in Czech language. No, it's not in English. So if you are not speaking Czech or Slovak, then this one will be pretty difficult for you.
And how often are you coming here to IBM to present?
Here, how often?
Yes.
This is my first time, and
Here.
I don't know next time. just now.
But IBMers do participate in your events.
Yes, like for example,
Except me, did you have any IBMers in the past?
I'm not sure. I would say yes, but I really am not sure about it.
You're sending the invitations to companies?
Well, I have to admit that this is the job of Jaka Zaplechova, the lady on the next slide. And I'm pretty sure she's sending some invitations and she's doing pretty much marketing work. But of course you are able to register yourself without invitation. So it's not kind of invitation based. It's open. Everybody is invited.
I would like to hear some of these examples for the icebreaker. Because I mean, we as agile mindset are still struggling. I would say, with it. It's kind of tricky, and mostly it's about the mindset. But mostly, then I see is letting go the old habits, right? And I think that the icebreakers are a good way to kind of let go of the past and embrace this new approach. And can you give some advice about this icebreaker? Because we have this stand-up meeting kind of weekly or daily, where we interact with the rest of the team. But it's always like you're trying to push the others to get information, right? It's not something that flows automatically.
Yeah. Are you talking about icebreakers during inter-team communication?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, first of all, I really do not know your situation very detailed way. So you are talking that you are hardly, or it's difficult for you to find the ways how to communicate with your peers in your team.
I see that in general, not just for me. For me, it's easy to communicate. I'm Italian. Somehow, I'm agile born, right? But I see others are kind of struggling, and mostly, I don't know. Sometimes I don't know if they're shy, if it's the old mindset, if it's. I mean, this agile thing is kind of new, right?
Yeah.
And the way people approach it is, most of the time I see it's like, agile again, Like, why don't we go back to the old system? It was safe there. So here, it's like you have to expose yourself first and tell what you're doing, how are you doing it, be real with the expectation and everything. And so communication is the key,
Yes.
right? And I was thinking now that you mentioned this icebreaker, it's like could be a good strategy even for us to implement, because it's somehow you break the ice, and you're there ready to communicate.
Yeah. I think there are many ways how to break the ice, and I think maybe one question: Are you typically working in a distributed setup, or are you collocated or
Collocated.
Okay, so I think that's a basic assumption, and that's great for you if you want to break the ice, because it's much more difficult when you have distributed teams. But in this case, I think there are, for example, in Scrum or in other methodologies, it's similar. You have some meetings which are defined by, for example, Scrum, like daily stand-ups, like planning meetings, and so on. These are all, in my opinion, opportunities to talk to people, each other. But there is one maybe most important meeting, which is retrospective. And many times people are forgetting doing retrospectives, but I think it's a great opportunity for building trust between the people. And trust is, I think, a key for a good communication, for open communication. There are some exercises that you can do with the people during retrospectives or outside retrospectives in order to build trust And
Like
in
for
order-
example, because I saw you were using ball on one of the pictures you were showing.
using what?
Some kind of ball.
Ball. Yeah. Okay. The ball. It was.
Yeah, but you said like there are some practices or
Yeah. Yeah.
to build the trust. So
Yeah.
Can you give us an example?
Yeah, sure. There's a book called, I will be also specific, but first I will tell, there's a book called Agile Retrospective. There are other book which I really like, which is called 5 Dysfunctions of Team. There are some other books, and there are many books with examples of such exercises. For example, one exercise which I really like is that you ask the people to tell the others something nobody else knows about the person. And it doesn't have to be something that I was a criminal in the past or something like that. But things like, for example, my colleagues do not know that I played violin, or similar things that might be interesting for the others. And there are more exercises like this. I can send you some, or I can give you some pointers what to type to Google, so that you are able to find more.
If we would like to organize open space within IBM, we can do it, right? Do you think?
Anybody can do it.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. There are some rules which are. I'm not talking about those 4 principles and 1 law. There are some rules that should be taken into consideration when you would like to organize open space. All of it is explained in detail in the user guide, and it's a great tool for you if you would like to organize your own open space, for example, inside IBM.
Okay.
But you can do it on any topic, no?
Yes, sure. It's not tied to Agile in any way.
But if I have, for example, want to use it in discovery phase or something, I'm trying to work on something, I would need to drive them a little bit towards the information I want. I cannot just let them be totally self-organized. Because if I let them be totally self-organized, they can take the discussion in any direction they want. And I want an outcome, okay, I want to
Yeah.
use it for something.
Yeah. Well, there is one tool you can use for this, and it's that you can set a topic for the open space. It's very important to set right topic, because if you set too general topic, then of course the discussions will not be so focused as if you.
But you still do marketplace, even if you set the topics.
Yes, sure. You said, okay, for example, the topic can be something like how will we cope with, for example, education in our organization, right? And then this could be the topic of the whole open space. And then the people, the attendees, can discuss, let's say, subtopics. Yeah, they are interested in. But it's really important to set a good generality level of the main topic. If it is too specific, then you will not have so much creativity, because the people will be like bounded by the topic. If it's too general, then you will not get the results focused. But of course, there is still a risk that the people will not discuss exactly what you would like them to discuss, but there might also be some positive surprises when they will find out something that you did not expect. It will be good.
Okay. Any more questions, guys? No? Okay then. Thank you so much, Jaro. Thank you so much.